Well, buenas noches.
Buenas noches.
Thank you for coming. Thank you for coming to this meeting today. We're going to have, in a number of years, for the first time, I think we're going to have two programs, very much interesting programs. The main issue here tonight, of course, is in addition to the great programs that we're going to be hearing about, is the time issues. We have those that were parked in the parking garage at 8:15, they shut down, and so I at least have to be out of here to get my car out of there. So that's one thing for us then to be on track and to not to lose a lot of time. So with that, definitely, Gary, kind of thank the United Way for this great opportunity to come here. And we'll get started, and I'm going to give you the floor just to say a few words.
Very good. Well, just want to say welcome. We're glad to have you here at the United Way. I'm pleased that Jaime asked me to host, and we're so pleased to have you here. It's an honor for us. And so just a couple of things about the United Way. I've given you a little propaganda here. Would encourage you to take. I also gave you a Ram schedule in case you haven't gotten yours this year. They will play.
Get free tickets from the United Way?
No.
Courtesy ticket?
I'm counting on you for that, Jaime. Jaime will give you tickets later, I guess. But just a little information about the United Way, and we are pleased you're here. And would also invite you, if you'd like to attend, our Multicultural Society Kickoff, hosted by Monsanto, is coming up on August 25th from 6 till 8 at the Chesterfield campus. If you would like to be a part of that, just give me your business card before you leave, and I'll make sure you get an invitation first thing tomorrow. It's a fun evening with a couple of hundred people. It's just a fun evening. For a little creature comfort, the ladies and men's room, if you go out to the first hallway and turn left, you'll find the men's room and the ladies' room down that hallway. And then also, if you see the last Triscuit and you really want it, but if you don't take the last Triscuit, just let me know. I have more Triscuits and more a little bit of everything. So if you need more food, just let me know, and I'll be happy to get that. If you don't see the soda you want, just whisper in my ear, and I'll get that for you. So whatever you'd like to have, let us know, and we'll try to be helpful. I do want to stress what Guillermo said. At 8:15, they're going to lock that garage, and you do not get out till like 6 o'clock, 6:30 tomorrow morning. So please, as you leave tonight, Guillermo promised we'd be out by 8. If you leave tonight, please, 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 don't stand on the sideway where walk and talk. Go get your car first, and then get out on the side and walk and talk. So, again, welcome. We're glad you're here.
Thank you very much. With that, let's go to the fantastic treasurer that we have. He's going to give a very short to the point report. Look at that. This is high tech.
Thank you very much. When in doubt, keep it handy, right? So thanks to technology, I'm happy to tell you that we have money in the bank. The amount available in all our accounts is $3,011.47. So thank you for all of you who have become members, for the company who have supported us, because your money does make a difference. So you have received also membership forms. If you're a member, thank you very much. You might want to keep it and give it to somebody who might be very well served by being a member of the Hispanic Leaders Group. So for those of you who might want to sign up today, please make sure to do that today, and or either Dinora and I can help you with your request. So here we go, membership form. Don't forget about it. That's it, Guillermo.
Thank you. Luis. I don't know how many of you were at the July the 22nd event for the Scholarship Alliance Award. I think we gave more than $60,000 or $65,000 in total in the name of scholarships. The Hispanic Leaders Group, we gave out two of $1,000. And just put it in your agenda. It will probably happen again sometime in probably the last Friday of July. And it's a great opportunity. It's a great opportunity for us to see people, young students that are doing their best to excel at the universities. On October the 14th, something big is going to happen. Jaime Torres.
What's happening on October the 4th?
You're going to tell us. In addition to my birthday, when I'm going to turn 39.
Are you sure is that date?
Sí.
As you know, annually, for the last, how many years we've done it, Dinora? No, the Premio Esperanza. It's less than that. but 10 years. We have been able to have a recognition program we call Premio Esperanza, which is a hope award. Since last year, that award is named on behalf of Tony Ramirez. And this is happening October 14. The venue will be determined. We are looking at a variety of places, making a very significant event, but actually very informal in a way. So we're looking for a beautiful venue that is on Lindell Boulevard, across from the Engineers Club, not far from the St. Louis Women's Club. It's a beautiful house that is a venue for restaurant. So we're planning to have a type of a reception hors d'oeuvres event. If the food is great and the price is right, we will have a dinner. That's the idea. But of course, what's important is once you get the announcement, to think of that individual that for many years have been doing great things for the Hispanic community. It doesn't have to be a Hispanic. It's a person that has been involved with our community throughout the years, helping in a variety of things. As the census reflected recently, our growth here has been significant, not only in the city of St. Louis, but also the county and the state. And there's many people behind the scene that have been assisting our community in getting forward. Those are the individuals we're looking for nominations. And I know every year it gets real difficult to select a winner. But we are making an effort that only one person will get it. Once, I think we have 2 awardees. So that's going to happen October 14th, Premio Esperanza. Once we send the notice out, please pay attention to it. I think we're going to do it October 14th, which is a weekday.
Friday.
Was it Friday? That's a weekday.
6 to 8.
It just
It is a weekday.
the beginning of the weekend. And the idea is to do it before you get committed to evening events. So it's going to be kind of between 5:30 to 7 o'clock time frame, so that we can go there, honor and recognize that individual, and then proceed with our social life. So watch your emails and other means of communication with the Premio Esperanza. Thank you, Miguel.
In order to have that one, well, not in order, because we're having that, we're going to be canceling. We're not going to have a regular meeting on the second Wednesday, which would have been 2 days previously, on October the 12th. So you can celebrate the discovery of America. You can celebrate Christopher Colombo, whatever you want to do. So no meeting on Wednesday. I know that a lot of you have placed it, in your electronic calendars. But one of the ways that we're going to start providing more information, in addition to Facebook, and maybe Omar will tell us a little bit about that, I want Luis Martinez to tell us about a new website that we're going to be developing.
For those of you who do not know, the latest and greatest about to happen. The board of directors have been challenged to decide how to improve our presence through a website. So we're trying to create a website that is very much user-friendly for us, the working board, so that at any point in time we can update and provide you with the information that you need. So that's going to be a task that is about to be taking place. Hopefully the deadline, if I remember correctly, is August the 12th, right?
The decision should be made 2 days from now.
And so hopefully from not too long from that, you're going to be able to see a fully improved website for you all to enjoy. So be on the lookout for that.
We have had these difficulties updating the website that we have right now.
Correct.
And so we're going to move into another website that can easily be updated, and we're going to have up-to-date information there. Now, Facebook, how many of you are on Facebook? I don't feel that bad. There's like about 3 or 5 of us that are not there. But Omar, tell us a little bit about Facebook.
Well, Facebook, as many of you know, is a part of the social media nowadays that most people are using. They're either using to find out what their friends are doing, or to find out what up-and-coming events are happening in their local area. And therefore, we thought that it would be best to use Facebook for our organization to be able to let our members, but also other people that are interested in the things that are happening in St. Louis, to be well connected and to be able to attend these events. Some of you actually that are here tonight were RSVPing through Facebook, and thank you very much for using that. We are asking that if you like our page, to please share that page on your wall and to show other people what we're able to do by coming together and by sitting down with organizations such as United Way, by having presenters such as Right Management. We feel that it's very much a gift to the St. Louis community, and we thank you for being a part of that.
Thank you, Omar. Anything else? We're going to leave some time at the end for announcements of members. Anything now before we go into the programs?
If you ask everyone to turn off, make sure that they turn off their...
Dinora wants for everybody to turn the attendance sheet, the blackberries, the pots, the pads, keep them down. I don't know what the names are. Mine is always in vibration, so. Good vibration. So,
Also the attendance sheet.
and of course, make sure that you sign the attendance sheet. This is the secretary, they want to have some records. Okay. Okay, so Maria Teresa, could you please take care of the programs
Yes.
tonight? Gracias.
Again, welcome everyone. I am glad that we have a time to share at the Hispanic Leaders Group. We want to be the type of organization that brings together the community, and that we can certainly exchange information, unite, and prosper. All of us, all of our individual organizations together can make a difference in this region. I want to basically welcome a very, very dear friend. Her name is Sid Dawson, and she is the presenter for tonight. I met Sid through Focus St. Louis, a program that we embarked for a year, almost a year and a half, with all of the information and all of the training. And I met this wonderful woman there that has made a difference in my life because she has shared some of her expertise. Sid is basically a fellow clinician as well, and she decided to embark on employment, and she has done a tremendous job with a management company, Right Management, to identify ways that she can assist businesses and individuals in terms of employment development. And we're talking to the top of the line as far as I'm concerned, and as far as many people in the area are concerned. Sid is someone that's well-traveled, communicates well, but apart from all of this beauty of education in St. Louis U and everything, and being a fellow clinician, what she has is a humongous heart. And I'm just so thrilled that she's here. She's going to talk to us about a topic that is pretty needed, difficult in this time. People are looking for employment, and it is hard out there. Why is it hard? She's going to tell you. Employment practices have changed. Social media has changed employment practices. And when I think about Maria Teresa Maldonado, who has been stuck in the state of Illinois for the last 16 years, and I think, oh my God, if I lose my job, I wouldn't know how to start. I mean, how many of us have been employed for a long time, and even though we might be very competent, we have command of the language, we are bilingual, we're this, we're that, we still would be lost, very much lost, in terms of employment seeking techniques, okay? So Sid is going to kind of give us an overall view of what is business in this region like, what the corporations and employers are looking for, and how us ones looking for employment might need to prepare ourselves on what we need to do. Without further ado, Steve Dawson.
Where is the best place for me to present?
If you can go up front, then we can see.
I was thinking that. PowerPoint, but I want people to know you should take notes if you want. I do have the PowerPoint slides as a handout. So, as an introduction, a little bit to give you why I'm here, why I'm working with people in transition. I come from the nonprofit world. I was the first female executive director for the Society of St. Vincent de Paul. I was an associate director for Life Skills Foundation. And then I wanted to make the leap into the business world, and there was about a 2-year period that was a very difficult transition for me, 1991 and 92. I found myself in 1991 in my 30s with no education and a surprise baby on my hip, and no partner. And so, you know, those are the times in which you really get to know yourself. And when I talk with someone who is in transition, meaning they're in between jobs, I always hold them high on my prayer list, and I always say this: it is the most significant personal and professional time of transformation for you if you take that opportunity. Why do I say that? Well, you know, we believe who we are has something to do with our title. And we believe that when we're involved in a company that we begin to get branded by that company. And on an unconscious level, we start taking on the logo and the importance and the significance of the different job titles and of the company that's employed us. There's nothing wrong with that. However, when it leaves you, you're bereft. You know, you're like, well, who am I? And there has to be something wrong with that. There really does. There has to be something wrong with that. It's really wonderful to love and own the work you do. That's what makes you a good worker. You own the work that you did. You were proud of it. However, it could become unplugged at any point in which you have no control. And so, you know, you have to really dig deep and say, you know, who am I? For those of you that are in this room and you're not unemployed, what I have to say this evening in a few short words here is really for you as much as it is for someone in transition. And I can't say that again enough. If you are employed, what I have to say for you is as important for you as if you were in between jobs. I work for Right Management, and it's owned by Manpower. We're actually the workforce experts across the world. We manage workforce solutions more than any other company worldwide. And Right Management is a subsidiary of Manpower. I'm very proud of the company. What Right Management does is we do consulting to firms around organizational development, around executive coaching, around outplacement issues, around strategic planning. And I'm able really to support St. Louis companies, Indianapolis and Minneapolis. I have 3 markets in those areas I mentioned. In my position, I'm getting survey results from Manpower all the time. They make it their job to do pulse surveys constantly of CEOs, of the C-suite, of middle management. And listen to this. For the last 2 quarters, the first 2 quarters of 2011, in the 80th percentile, people have responded that they plan to leave their job when the market gets better. Now, that means that those of you who are employed, you know, next time you go to work, you kind of look around and wonder, which are the 80% that would like to leave as soon as the market gets better? You know, does that mean that we're going to see all the flight when the market gets better? I think we can predict we're going to see some. What it definitely means is that people are having a lot of unhappiness at work. They've lost friends over the last 3 years because of the reductions. They've taken on not one other job, but 3 or 4 other duties. And so there's this real sense that there must be greener pastures someday, and it won't be here. So, number one, we're in trouble. Our workforce is in trouble. We as workers are in trouble. Another statistic that I thought was interesting was that when we're doing pulse surveys and we're talking to internal recruiters, we're talking to people inside of companies who are hiring. People like I was in discussions with Express Scripts 2 months ago, Monsanto. People on the survey from Manpower, which is worldwide, internal recruiters are saying we can't find good people. Overwhelmingly, I hear this. So as I go and I talk with internal recruiters asking if I can help them fill some of their positions. Oh, I hope you can. We just can't find good people. I want to say, are you kidding me? You know, what in the heck is going on? But we are predicting through Manpower from all the research that we are entering an age right now of the greatest talent mismatch we've ever experienced. Companies are reorganizing their jobs. They're looking for people who are superhumans. This list is keyword driven. We want her to have previous utility experience. She has to have strong analytics skills. A couple of them have said that their undergraduate degree had to be a grade point of 3.0. Never have heard of that as a requirement before. These are people who have masters. And so there's this huge laundry list that's a wish list, and they believe this is what they need. And then we have this wonderful group of people out here looking for jobs. And it's a huge talent mismatch. Now think about that for a second. We have baby boomers. I'm proud to be one. I'm going to be 60 this next year. And we will be leaving the workforce fairly soon. I mean, some of us are going to stay a little longer than we thought we were because of the economy. But what is going to happen within our workforce if companies aren't able to predict what they need and if they're not grooming retention? You know, I mean, it's very interesting dilemma. So I'm giving you that as the backdrop, that whether you're working or you're in transition right now, your voice and ability to communicate how you add value and what you enjoy doing is very important right now. It's very important. It's very important that you're shaping the place you're working and that you are taking ownership of you. All right. So the title of it was New Ways for Looking for Employment. I had to laugh a little. Maria gave that title to me, and I thought, gosh, I wish I knew. So I don't have that brass ring, so you only have to go around once and grab it, and it's yours. I had the privilege of working with several very talented people every day looking for employment, and there certainly is not a magic formula. I will tell you, I've seen people go off this plan, and I've seen people stay on this plan, and staying on the plan works. Now, whether it works within the time frame that you want, whether it works fast enough, you know, those are things in which you're dancing with the market, and we don't know how the market's going to respond to you. If we still look at current landings, now we refer to that jargon for people who have found a job. They've landed. I guess it means they've been floating and now they get to land. But 55% have found their job through straight networking. 55%. Now that is a little bit down. It was around 78% 3 years ago. And certainly, I'll talk about this in a minute, social media has changed that. Social media opportunities that people got from the internet are around 28%. The way that we survey people at the end of the time they work with us does not allow them to check internet plus networking. There's just one option. But I know for a fact that people who found jobs through the internet have successfully networked their way into those jobs. So it's a combination. So you think, well, 28 people have been playing the internet, and I'll tell you, I am positive a lot of them landed because they networked behind that job opening. 12% were employee referrals. Even though morale and engagement is low, there are companies that are still paying bonuses, and everybody wants that additional money. And so we may think, I don't want to go ask people for a job. I hate networking. I just am not the networking type. I feel like saying, do you know that some people can make money off of getting you into the company? I mean, this could easily be a win-win. And then we got about 6% on search firm. Search firm business is really recruiter business. It's really going through a hard time right now because a lot of companies feel that they can handle their searches themselves because of social media. Executive search firms are still alive, well, and kicking, but many of them are promising companies that they'll do the search over again up to 2 different times if the person doesn't stick beyond 12 months. So for a company, even though they're paying a huge fee, they feel like they have a guarantee if that person doesn't work out. So their executive search firms are doing well, but they're really compromising on their fee by doing searches again if they don't stick. All right, so here's what I want people to remember, and I'm going to speak then for 2 different points, but there's 2 legs to what I'd like to say. Again, whether you are employed right now or whether you are not. We are coming from an age in which the term branding yourself was a little bit foreign. We were accepted into a company, the company branded us, they gave you a title, they gave you business cards, sometimes they put the logo on your wear, and so we never thought about intentionally branding ourselves. If you stop and you think about it, in the past we didn't have a lot of different ways to communicate. We had, of course, phone, face-to-face, voicemail. Now there's something, voicemail. Your voicemail message, I remember training about making sure your voicemail message is, is professional. You still should, by the way, but if you stop and think about the different ways we had to communicate, we could probably put them in one hand. Today, though, because there is so much mobility between companies, and companies definitely want our loyalty, but they're not as willing to give us their loyalty back. So let's face it, the scales have got to be somewhat even. We're human beings. So their ability to promise retention has really dropped off. Pensions have dropped off. And on top of that, communication modes have really skyrocketed. We have all the different social media venues to put your message out. We have business cards now that give you room to put more of what you say you can do on them as opposed to your contact information. We still have voicemail. Hopefully we'll still have face-to-face communications, and we have telephone. We have webinars. We have lots of virtual communication. So that has exploded in addition to companies not branding us as much. We have to brand ourselves. Whether you are working or whether you are in transition, I ask you, who do you tell the world you are? Who can I count on you to be? Do you know how to answer that in terms of some concise 3 to 4 skills and competencies? Does that sound like you're bragging? Well, how the heck am I supposed to know who you are? So who do you say you are? And who are the 3 to 4 skills and competencies that you promise me I can predict I'll see in you? Now they can change and they should grow. As I get older, I'm being able, I hope, to add patience someday to one of my competencies. But I am really clear about my message, and I'm really clear about where I want it to go and how I want it to change. So, your brand. The 2 legs of this presentation are you have 2 ways to communicate it. Your verbal message and your written message. Right? We have more venues, but we have 2 ways to communicate it. When you're communicating a verbal message, has anyone heard of the elevator speech?
Yeah.
No, right? And so what is that? Just
9 seconds.
It's 9 seconds of what? Humming?
Your message.
I heard a song. Someone was singing a minute
It's your
ago.
message.
It's your
You can tell them about you in 9 seconds.
9 seconds. In other words, the length of the elevator ride. 9 seconds. Good. It's your message. How many here have given any thought to crafting a personal commercial or an elevator speech? All right. Good. You've learned well. And don't ever stop refining that message. Once you're still at work, you should still be able to, in a very interesting way, tell people about yourself. And again, if you're working or not, To be able to tell people who you are is very important. Now, what is the purpose of a commercial? Well, it's to educate you all about me. No. No. I mean, no one really cares that much about me. Nobody really cares that much about someone else. However, people are caring about who's in the elevator with them or who's at the networking event. They're interested in exchange. So you do have some outcomes when you want to tell your commercial. You want to first be able to create a positive memory. Okay, what did I just say?
Positive.
I didn't say negative, did I? I said positive. And I didn't say forgettable, I said memory. Now, a lot of people are out there networking for years. I took it under my wing to work with what we call the 99ers. These are people who have been out 99 weeks or longer. And I really want to hear their message, because if they're not leaving a positive message, they may be leaving a negative one. And if they are, I ask them to stop talking to people. You know, we could unconsciously leave a negative message. We don't even know how we leave a negative message, unless we really are intentional about what we say. So you need to leave a positive message. And does anyone have a tip? What's one of the ways you think you can leave a positive message?
Smile.
Absolutely, 200%. 200% you can leave a positive message. Omar came into my office, and all the ladies in the office like, who was that person? He was so happy and just so fun, and yes, you know, he was instantly a positive message. Any other tips? What's another way to leave a positive memory?
Dress.
Dress, appearance. You know, you live in your brand, man, right? I mean, you have to look acceptable. What else?
Be friendly.
Be friendly. You know, reach out. You're not selling them Fannie Mae candy. It doesn't. You know, you're not selling them something, but reach out. Hello. You know. Yes. Be friendly. A positive memory can also be captured by you saying something significant about your passion. We as human beings sort of actively listen up and down that active line. Sometimes when we're with our significant other, we're like, yeah, and we're not really listening at all. But active listening goes up and down. But if you can just, in a way that's not real intrusive or strange, talk about your passion, guess what people remember? They remember that heart. They remember that sense of disclosure. Disclosures cause memory, as long as it's positive. All right, the second thing you want to always leave behind is you want to make sure that that listener doesn't have one concern about your performance. So, you know, if you're a lawyer, if you're legal counsel, if you're an instructor, if you're an admin, you just want to make sure that somehow the person doesn't have a sense that your performance is below standard. And if you're in transition, you absolutely need to make it known that I was not released for any other reason other than a downsize. Third thing is you want that listener to really understand you have a great attitude. Now, whether you're working or you're not, you know, we have some pretty grumpy Aunt Marthas at every workplace, and no one needs another one. Your attitude has to sell your brand. You do not have to worry about my attitude. The way I'm going to interact with you is going to be positive. And fourth, you'd like to create a partnership. Doesn't have to be one for life, but it can be a connection. You know how easy it is to connect with people now with LinkedIn or business cards? Really easy. And you want to create a partnership. Not an intrusive one, not one that's not unequal, but a partnership. How many here are up for a new partner or friend? Man, everyone should have their hands up. We all need each other. We all need each other. And so, you know, those are your 4 objectives, and I do have this on the handout. So I have a template on what we call a personal commercial instead of the elevator speech that you can look through and walk yourself through. It does have to be brief. I would say you practice it. That may seem silly for some of us, but practice it. How many of you drive in the car by yourself to work? Practice it while you're driving. Say it out loud. Hi, my name is Sid Dotson. I'm a St. Louisan. I have a business degree and a master's degree, and I'm living my dream. I'm able to support people who are in transition. which uses my counseling background, as well as I run 3 businesses in 3 large markets, Minneapolis, Indianapolis, and St. Louis. What can I do for you? Practice it. You just practice it. So why do you want to network, whether you're working or you're not working? What are some reasons?
Always looking for new opportunities.
Always looking for an opportunity. What?
Expanding your horizons.
You're getting new information. There's always things out there with new information. What else?
Resource sharing.
Resource sharing, absolutely resource sharing. You never know. What else?
Helping others who might have been in that same position that you were in.
Putting a hand forward, paying it forward, right. Helping other people. We're not in this alone. We are not in this alone. Our workforces are hurting. And people who are in transition, I mean, you know, the newspapers call me about every 2 weeks asking for some article that they get in their head. You know, I said, tell us which companies are hiring right now. Oh yeah, I'm gonna put that on the front page. You know, and like I knew, you know. But you know, they're always wanting these kind of bizarre stories. I said, you know, the story I want you to write is that everybody that is working needs to be out networking. Do not be afraid to talk to people who are not employed. Secondly, the unemployed people in St. Louis are our treasure. They've gone through and been wiped clean of personal dilemmas, and they have found themselves. We have, I don't know if anyone's seen, there are openings now that say if you've been out of work for 24 months, you need not apply. That's a travesty. It makes absolutely no sense. But you know, I can't get anyone to write an article about that. But networking is all about those things. So you want to network, you want to be able to get yourself acquainted with what are some good questions. On the handout, I do have questions to ask, you know, what are the problems you're having at work? That's a great question to ask to a coworker. Are there any issues you're having you've had a hard time to solve? Do you have any idea what kind of job you'd like next after this? Those are great questions to ask people, whether you're in a job or not. And the biggest thing I can tell you if you're networking is do not keep score. This is not about a game that you get what you want or that you do find a job or that you know you only meet important people. It's not about that. It's about weaving this beautiful spider web that you make as attractive as possible and enjoying it. So do not keep score when you're networking. Keep track of your people, circle back to them. How many of you have met or talked with or heard of Dr. Benjamin Akande? He has this great personal habit that when he meets you, he goes home or in his car and he writes a Thanksgiving card. And he'll say, Sid, it was so very good to see you at Go Network again. I appreciate more than you know your contributions to the community. I'm proud to be on your team, Benjamin. And at Thanksgiving, we get thank you cards. I mean, I think that's outstanding. This man is all about telling a story and connecting with people, but he's all about not forgetting either. So, you know, remember to follow up. That's your network. That's your credibility. All right. So what's the first thing I said about, what's the first leg about communicating your message? What is it?
Being positive.
Being positive. It's the verbal message. It's the verbal message. It's about your personal commercial. It's about who you are. It's the way you answer interview questions, the way you talk to your peers at work. Second leg of the message is your written message, of course. And so when we think about a written message, we do think about a resume or a bio. How many here have a resume or bio? Beautiful. Updated? Beautiful. Absolutely. We're moving into the age in which photos are acceptable on bios because LinkedIn now is almost considering you incomplete if you don't have your photo. There was a day that we said do not put your photo on LinkedIn or do not put your photo on bios. We did that for a whole lot of professional reasons, which actually I still stand behind. Yeah, we Right Management stood behind do not put your photo on those 2 venues up until probably this time last year. but the community got bigger than we did, and so, you know, we acquiesced. But a nice bio, one page, telling a little bit about your history, but what I love about the bio is you have an opportunity to put your voice in there. You can even at the bottom put a little bit about your family, your personal things. You can even write in italics your credo or what your mission is. So, you know, it gives you your voice. It lets you kind of stand up with your voice. The resume needs to be accomplishment driven. So, for example, if I told you my personal commercial, if you remembered it, I living the dream, I'm running 3 markets. If I wanted to go further with that, if it were in the resume, I would say that with each market I've been assigned, we have been able to meet our gross profit margin within the second quarter of my leadership. I inherited 2 teams that were experiencing low morale because of a loss of leader, and I was able to get them fully enrolled, and now 2 of those people on my team are leaders within our region. So that's the outcome. You know, that I told you what I did first, but my outcome. So what? You ask yourself, this is what I do, so what? Well, a lot. Okay, tell me what, you know. How many calls did you make for the festival? You know, how many have you landed? You know, those kinds of things, the metrics. Your resume should have your accomplishments on there. If there's anyone in this room that has not defined their work around accomplishments, I want you to make a commitment. You'll look at that in the next 30 days. It really separates your message from other messages. Because when you give me accomplishments, I build a picture mentally of what you've done. The capacity, Minneapolis, Indianapolis, and guess what? That's a memory maker. It's kind of a tip for you. That if you can, in an interesting way, explain to people the metrics of what you've done, they build this mental image and they'll remember it. So same with the resume. So your written message includes the resume, cover letters and emails. Of course, all of you should be actually, I don't care if it's friends, I don't care if it's coworkers or you're out in a job search, read that email twice and make sure it says what you want. Do not hit that send button all the time. Give yourself a breath and read it twice. And a lot of us are running fast, that's hard to do. And then, of course, there's social media. I love that Omar is moving to branding the group here on Facebook. There are some people, I have Karen Libby speak at our office about 5 times a year, in which she really advocates that individual professionals have a fan page on Facebook. And I'm like, oh, you know, just, I don't know about that. But this was a great tip, and I'm still thinking about it for myself. She says, if your life were a movie, what's the title? See, now we're getting kind of close to your brand, aren't we? You know, if your life were a movie, what's the title? And then what are the 3 or 4 storyboards that support that? She said, if you're in love with that message, you should create a fan page. She said, instead of us thinking about social media as me sticking all my information up here, and I just hope if somebody picks the right keywords to grab me, that's how I think about social media. She says, that's only about 40%. The other 60% is that you have a compelling message that whether people get you accidentally, through referrals, someone who knows you, or keywords, they remember you and they get your message accurately. She said, why wouldn't you want to tell the world? Well, I'm not quite there, so that's fan page. LinkedIn, however, how many are on LinkedIn? I'm just curious. Well, Maria, we all really should be on LinkedIn. I know that it seems like we put that in the category of Facebook, but it's not. It is a business platform. Before I came, I looked up as many names as I could on LinkedIn. Before I network with anyone, if I have their name, I look it up on LinkedIn. Before people meet with me, I find out in the conversation they've looked me up on LinkedIn. And we have created a transparency now that is really close to being a mandate, meaning it is becoming an expectation. Again, I was meeting with one of our large companies here in St. Louis. They are doing more hiring than most. And I said, you know, let me help you source some of your jobs. What are you doing now? And there was kind of quiet on the conference call because I was talking to their internal recruiters in 5 different locations. And I said, well, I mean, in addition to that website, and it's elaborate. I mean, people spend, you know, an hour getting through it. I said, so instead of your website. And so then the director kind of laughed, and she said, we don't use our website. We source our jobs through LinkedIn. And then we check to see if they're in the website. I'm like, well, you know, you could let people know that. But interesting, she's not the only place I've heard this. What companies do is that they figure out from their company what's needed. They look at the job requisition. They talk with the manager. They figure out the keywords. They even ask the manager, so do you think since a lot of our IT has maybe come from Anheuser-Busch, we should keep drawing from Anheuser-Busch? Absolutely. That's worked out great. Another company we could really use people from is so-and-so, so-and-so. You know, Peabody, they use SAP. Okay, all right, so now we have business analyst, IT program project manager, strong financial skills, Anheuser-Busch. Let's see who we get. Now, these people could be employed or not. Those are candidates. So LinkedIn has your profile on it. If you get in, it'll walk you through how to fill it out. Under LinkedIn training resources, you can go to a webinar and you can learn from the person who's teaching that a lot about how to do LinkedIn. It changes all the time. They even have a feature right now on LinkedIn called Skills. It's beta tested. We're not going to be able to use it long. I think it'll go up to the paid membership level. But under Skills, you can put in what skills you have. It'll take you to a page and give you the definition, give you the associated keywords to that skill, the recruiters that are interested, the jobs that use that skill, and other professionals. So right there on one page, you sort of have the whole community around executive coaching. And then it'll tell you how many times executive coaching has grown, been in keyword searches over the past year, whether it's negative or positive. So I was working with someone that came from one of our organizations, a financial investment firm, and she was called a service center manager. But in fact, when I looked up service center, it was in the negative. The call center, copy center, was mailroom center was in the positive. So we switched. We switched our keywords. Are you getting it? It's not only being clear about your brand, but now it's also benchmarking it against what is the community. That's what great thing the virtual community is good for, and that is using Indeed.com. If you put in keywords, you're going to see what jobs it pulls up. If it's not pulling up what you want, use different keywords, and you will begin to kind of get your keywords more aligned with what is going on out there. It is still your brand, folks. Whether you are employed or whether you're not, it's very important that you know who you say you are and who do you promise to be if I work with you. Are you clear about how you add value? Do you know how to describe what you do? It is the one thing that helps you get to a place where you're working for you incorporated. Once I was in transition with a kid on my hip and no education, I realized that I will always work for me incorporated, and I'll tell you why. I am my favorite person. I don't mean that offensively to anybody, but I've been washed clean of completely relying on who I am and my identity. I love my job. I'm living the dream. I love right management, but I tickle myself to death. And should I be back on the streets, I will touch base with everybody in this room. And some of you will enjoy me, and some of you may not, and some of you may help me, and some of you maybe can't. But I will always enjoy myself in that process. And it's because I do like my message, and I know that it's going to grow. I I know that I'm only halfway there. I can't wait to just keep adding new keywords to it. So again, whether you're working or whether you're not, I can't stress enough the importance of it. So a good networker is somebody who is prepared. Prepared means that you've practiced your commercial in the car by yourself. It's somebody who smiles. And I really would recommend that everybody, smiling is a habit. I mean, it's really easy for me to put a baby in your arms or a puppy on your lap and you smile. Yeah, I mean, that's easy. But smiling just out of habit is really a nice habit to have. And while you're driving the car, get behind that wheel while you're looking at really nothing and smile. I want you to look like the village idiot driving to his home. Smile. Because it's a habit, and the more you smile, the more your brand is endorsed by a lot of good things, and it will create good memory. Have questions that that you have ready and you feel comfortable to ask. Have the terminology that you need to explain yourself and how you add value. Make some plans for your future self. That's one of my favorite exercises. Is I have a conversation with my future self. I run into myself 5 years from now, and I tell myself all the things I'm doing, and the books I'm reading, and the kind of car I'm driving, and where I'm speaking. And that's like my future self tells me those things. And it doesn't mean that's the only place I can go, but she's the one that keeps calling me forward. And you know what? Sometimes she doesn't say she's at right management. I mean, and that's okay. She's the one that's calling me. She's the one that continually invents herself. So what I have for some handouts is the PowerPoint, 30-second commercial template for you to give some thought to. And then something I haven't talked about is 4 examples of what we call a networking brief. And a networking brief is not your resume, and it's not a bio. It's a 1-page overall view of who you say you are. And then if you're in search, if you're working or in transition, it explains what your target companies and your target jobs are, because it's kind of nice for people to know, oh, you're looking at May stores. I know someone there. Oh, you're looking at so-and-so. I know somebody there. Or you're looking so-and-so, but why didn't you say this company? You say, well, great, you know somebody there. So it gets people talking about getting you connected with your target companies. So you look for jobs. They're openings. That is a reactive search. Once your eyes hit that opening, you have to remind yourself 1,000 other eyes are looking at it as well. It may not even be real. It may be a phantom opening. It may have been filled and someone didn't take it down. Then you look at target companies. Where would I love to work? And you begin to network into those target companies. And they say, well, we don't have a job. It's okay. I just want to know more about what adds value there. What does it take to add value at that place? And then you're ready and teed up for when an opening does occur. Above all of that is what? What is the thing? That's the search strategy, but what's the thing you have to do before that?
Being positive.
Be positive.
Memorable.
Be memorable. Create memory.
And know yourself.
And know yourself. Know your brand. Have your brand ready for it to be in a verbal and a written form consistently. Be willing to change it as you grow. Yep. Thank you so much.
I'm not
We
good
got
at
it.
anything. Thank you, Sid. We are basically thankful for the information, and I'm sure it's going to be very helpful to all of us.
No, we're going to wait till we get.
Well, we have 5 minutes for questions because
No,
it's 7:45.
I suggest that we go to the 211
Yeah?
presentation,
Okay.
and then, yeah.
Okay. Okay, overruled. Okay, got it. Okay. Mr. Gary Dollar.
I'm
He's
just
gonna-
going to turn it over to Regina. We're 15 or 20 minutes, kind of very quickly. What 211 is, you have a flyer here. We can get you more of these if you would like them. And 211 is a great service for our community that we've had here about 5 years. And Regina's going to cover what it is and what we do.
Thank you, Gary. Good evening. As Gary said, I will try and, be very quick and just give you a good overview of just what
You may
211
wanna
is.
move up to the
And,
people down here won't see you, but you
oh,
can.
yes, and we are all employed by the United Way of Greater St. Louis, and they partner very well in 2006 with the Missouri Foundation for Health. And they entered into a 5-year agreement where United Way would bring 211 to the area. And it's important to also note that United Way has always had what was called information and referral services, where we've always been in the community to assist. But 211 was a new platform that was brought forth. And as you can see here now, again, I'm not going to go through everything, but 211 is located in more than 47 states. And last year, across the entire country, there were over 20 million calls to 211 systems around the state. And Missouri was the 20th state to enter into an agreement to become a 211 system. We are centralized. We're located right here at the United Way of Greater St. Louis. And so what makes us unique from some other ones is that we're all employees of the United Way of Greater St. Louis. And so we're very proud of that. We have 5 resource hubs around the state, and we do cover the entire state of Missouri. So there's 211 coverage for all of the almost 6 million citizens in Missouri, and that is by us here in St. Louis, and then this little gray area that you see is by the United Way of Greater Kansas City. So they do cover 16 counties, and so we are proud that we can give Missouri 100% coverage. And we are 24/7, 365, so people can contact us every single day of the year by contacting and dialing 211, or we also have an 800 number that can be utilized. Okay. One thing that we do, our main message is that we exist to help, and what we love to do most is help people. If you saw our tagline is get connected, get answers, we simply exist 24/7 to answer that call and to help any single person who may come to us for help. So whether they're in a job transition, whether there are things that come away from that in support of being in that transition, needing utility assistance, job search techniques, volunteer opportunities, housing, resources, we're there. And so we're able to link people through easy access, professional staff, and connecting people to all of the resources in our database. And we have over 30,000 resources in our database that we maintain each and every year. So again, if you take away nothing else, know that we are here to just simply help. A little bit about our call volume, and you'll see here, back in 2004, INR took about 32,000 calls. When 211 came into existence, and that was again in that 2006 timeframe, there was a big spurt here, and if you all remember the 2006 power outages, that really opened a need, and then we saw the vulnerability of what it took in terms of managing power outages. A lot of people lost a lot of food, there was a lot of need, and there was a lot of need for utility assistance. And so that propelled, again, United Way and Missouri Foundation to start 211. And since that time, even that first year, there were about 71,000 calls that were taken. Last year, we took almost 125,000. So we are growing exponentially year over year, and we're very proud of that. And you can see certain patterns of things that happen, but the summer always propels us forward in terms of our call volume. And so we've been doing a number of things to meet those needs and to look at what's happening. And I will tell you a little bit, we're going to see a big spike after this year between May and June, because we've been very busy doing what we call our other side of 211. Is not only helping with basic needs and human services, but disaster response. And I'll be able to touch on that a little bit. So again, 2010, we took almost 125,000 calls. We were very keen on increasing our footprint in the state, and that's just through penetration, making sure that everyone who was anyone knew about 211, and so we still aim to do that. And then we did some other things, and most notably, we did launch our 211 Advisory Committee last year. So far this year, we've received 25,000 calls, and this is in the first quarter only, okay, in the first quarter. And most of our calls, when we look at who's calling us and what do they need, our top 3 needs are electric payment assistance, housing, rental assistance, and gas payment assistance. So we get a lot of calls in terms of what the needs are, and we, all day long, we link people to resources in the community. We've been very busy already responding to the New Year's Eve tornadoes, if you remember the ice storms, and there was a lot of information there. We tested our virtual response capabilities, so we're very serious about being available all the time, and we're able to work virtually. So this year we tested, and 100% of our staff worked virtually for 2.5 days. We do observe National 211 Day, and that's February 11th, every single year. And then we launched a 211 video, so if anyone is interested, take a look at our website, and you'll be able to see our video with some of the characters are depicted there. Quarter 2, so those 25,000 calls the first quarter, almost doubled in the second quarter, 48,757 calls. And we still saw electric as our most requested need, but disaster came in second because a couple of things happened in the second quarter. The St. Louis County tornado, Joplin, floods all around the state. And so we have been very busy doing what I call an alter ego, and that's disaster response, responding to those needs. And we also have a website where we capture the number of visits, and that exploded, 67,000 new visitors to our website. So it's very important, and it's also important to note that we do work under the guidance of the Missouri Public Service Commission. So in order to do what we do have to have state permission. So we did renew that license this year. When we talk about disaster, we do, again, I talked about that alter ego, that duality of focus. Well, we are here in terms of need, and we've learned it a lot, and we are proud at the response that we've had this year. And so 211 is an essential service, not only for those basic needs when people need one number to call to find resources instead of calling a number of different times. And, especially if you're new to the system because of the economy, we've seen so many people enter the human basic needs system where they need help. And, most people don't know where to start. Well, by simply calling 211, we're able to give them guidance. We're able to walk them through, and we're able to match their needs to the agencies that are available to them. And as we go forward, we talk about our disaster mode. We become a central communications point. We have an MOU with SEMA, which is the State Emergency Management Association. And so we handle and we manage consultation with other emergency managers, 24/7 access to information, doing just what's in our major charter. We coordinate partner agencies. We become a disaster intake line. And we also had a great amount of success managing spontaneous volunteers. We were able to transform our website, and when you want to respond and you want to post volunteer opportunities, we were able to match over 10,000 individuals to opportunities right here in St. Louis and in Joplin. So that served very well for us, and it's very much needed. So we're happy to find our niche in terms of always helping people is what we do, and even in times of emergency. And some of the disaster-related resources I want to highlight where we were able to assist in referrals were from debris removal to personal hygiene kits, clothing, furniture, some very basic needs which we connect people to every single day, but it becomes at a higher level in terms of emergency. And some of the most pertinent things that we're also able to do is to help with rumor control, reporting community needs. When people called us to say, well, I'm stuck here and I'm stuck on the highway and I don't have any help, we have direct linkages into the emergency folks on site to be able to get people there. So between health and human needs, basic needs, and actually supporting local emergency response, 211 is a very, very valuable tool in the community, and we found it's even more critical after what we've been able to prove and show this year. And we've been getting a lot of good feedback as a result of that. And then just a couple of things that we did in terms of disaster response. This again was a record year. We hosted what was called a multi-agency resource center where we convened about 22 agencies and served over 800 people in less than 6 hours at St. Louis Community College. So being able to utilize our resources and our partnerships to bring agencies together to serve a specific need is a very big component. And it's also a very positive thing that we're able to do because of our partnerships and because of our relationships in the community. So that helped very well. We've already been receiving commendations from FEMA and SEMA for this year's response. And so what we are right now, in terms of looking at that, we're still in the midst of another emergency yet, and that's the prolonged heat wave that we've had. We've heard about the deaths that have occurred, and so we managed to open up, we partner with agencies to become cooling sites. We try to do our part to make sure, again, resources are always available in the community and that people know how to get to them. So what we're able to do, again, is stand up in the community, link people to needs and resources, and then utilize over those 30,000 agencies and referrals that we have in our system every single day. So I know I sped through that, I know time is short, but the main message is we're here to help. We want people to know about 211, We want them to know that there's 3 simple numbers with 1 helpful voice on the end of that line. And so we've got about 30 employees here, 24/7, and they can call us to get help for whatever they need. And we exist to just simply connect them to those resources in the community.
And that's the key message for this group is, if you need help, or you know someone who does need help, needs to be linked to services, and they don't know where to turn, just ask them to call 211, or you call 211. Also, if you want to volunteer, and you want to see a way to get engaged in the community, whether it's a time of disaster or not, you can dial 211. So whatever it may be around health and human services, you'll dial 211, a live person's going to pick up the phone and help direct you to services.
Gina, I was just going to, could you describe how the foreign language capacity of the system might be for people who don't speak native?
Yeah, thank you for that. We do employ a language line where we're able to communicate in over 150 languages. So if we have someone on staff, or if we don't, any agent that answers the phone is able to connect very quickly, and we can connect and the interpreter come on, and they will help to interpret so that we can also fill the needs, and that's again in over 150 languages.
And also, just to clarify, there is no requirement in terms of having to show documentation or anything to call the line in terms of et cetera, and there's no income verification. It's only at maybe an agency that they might visit, right?
Absolutely.
So if you
Right, so we are a referral line, and so what we will do, in part of our consultation, and we don't just take the calls, we do a little bit of digging, because we also want to make sure that we're giving people the right referral, and we have documented in our database all the eligibility requirements, and so when a person calls us, we're going to be able to tell them what they need to take with them. We can match them to what agencies are going to best suit their needs. So we do we consult with them a bit, and we look at the times that they're open, the proximity to their home. We can tell them where they need to go, what times that they need to be there. And so we're able, again, to match people with needs to give good referrals. And that's good for the individuals that need us, but it's also good at us being a good partner to the agencies, because we want to make sure that we're giving the agencies only the folks that they really need to see. And so that's another plus in terms of what we're able to do. We capture a lot of data through 211. And when we serve that back to the agencies, they're able to utilize it to make decisions. If they want to know where they're going to spend their new dollars, or what their next need is, or even money or data for grants, they're able to utilize our data, because through a single source, we collect a ton of information that becomes a very valuable tool in the community.
Another piece of this that is emerging as we, and we learn new things every day, I think, but tools, how you can use this. In this heat wave, the cities, counties have they know the residents that are high need, that are at risk. And so we actually can do outbound calls also, and call and check on seniors, see how they're doing, do those kind of things. So there's a lot of tools this has to it, a lot of abilities, and it's a good tool for our community, that's for sure, and we're happy to be able to provide it.
How many, may I ask you?
Yes, you may.
How clear is the system to eliminate 911 calls to 211? How do you manage that?
Well, one of the first is, we identify if it's a true emergency, we're going to either patch to them or tell them to hang up and call 911 right away. Because 211 is not meant to replace 911, it is information and referral. But we sometimes do get, and in fact, just because we probably had about 4 suicide calls. And so when we get those calls in, because we get people who are in despair, they're calling for other reasons, but as we're digging, as we're talking, we're very often counseling, and we find that, they will open up, and so we have to diffuse that situation before we go any further. And so we don't move them. We'll calm them, we'll make sure they're not going to harm themselves, and then we will hotline them to a crisis center.
And we do warm transfers, what's called warm transfers. Person's on the line, we're on the line. The system's actually been very helpful. We don't get many mistakes on someone should have called 211. One, we've marketed around that. But what we are finding, and what the city told us and in the county, is we're taking a lot of what they term nuisance calls. They're not really emergencies. They need, they need to know where I can get to a doctor, not because of an emergency, or I need an agency to help my mother, and they call the emergency line, they'll call 911. We are actually relieving 911 so that they're able to really focus on the emergency calls. During the snowstorm, Chief of Police in the city of St. Louis said it was wonderful. They didn't have people calling them to say, I can't open my garage door this morning because the snow's piled up against. They called us instead. And then we were able to take care of those things. So it's actually been a real help. And the data has shown across the nation where they have 211s that it's been a real help to allow 911 to really focus on what it's supposed to be doing.
Follow up. Is there a possibility of a 211 call with, I cannot help you? Does that happen?
Yeah.
It could happen, but very often it does not happen because normally there are a lot of times, I may call about one need, and even if I can't respond to that need, because of our program, because of our consultation, we may identify other needs that we can help with.
So Jaime, there's two answers to that. One is, assuming it's a health and human service kind of need, there's always someone we can refer to them. So probably almost everyone who calls, we can make some kind of referral. The second question is a much bigger one, though, and a much more important one, and as you look at data coming out of here. So there are times when agencies no longer have money. So someone's calling for rent assistance, utility assistance, and I know this will sound bizarre, but literally there's no money in town for that. Until the next LIHEAP is released, low-income heating energy assistance program, until that money is released, there literally sometimes is no money in town to help. That literally the agencies are run out of money. But we can help them then, as Regina said, through some other ways. We try to help them. We'll try to, I mean, it sounds bizarre, but we cobble together money, $25 from here, $25 from here, $50 from there, to try to be helpful. And so there are times when there just aren't resources, and that's a shame. And one of the things we look at the data as we move forward on 211 is helping to identify that, to try to set some priorities in our communities around what are the needs and how are both state and private dollars being spent.
Thank you.
I am a witness to you guys because my job, I have 7 counties that some people don't even know that exist, Madison, Perry, and all that. And every way I go to meetings and your representative is there. And the data that you guys collect is used by all those agencies to ask for help, to ask for new dollars and things like that. And yeah, and like yesterday I saw one in Madison County. So, yeah, you are everywhere.
Do you have a Facebook page?
We don't have a Facebook page. We are part of the United Way of Greater St. Louis overall Facebook page.
And you have a website, though.
But we do have a website. Yes, it's 211missouri.org.
Any other question regarding the 211? Very good. Apparently there were some questions for Sid.
Yeah.
Or in the corporate community, is that not looked upon with any sort of?
No, it definitely is. I mean, one of the questions they're going to ask is, how long have you been looking? What have you been doing over the summer? What have you been doing since February, whatever? And opportunities to volunteer through Go Network or through United Way, or to volunteer with any of your favorite nonprofits. Those are all ways in which you can say then in an interview, I contributed my specific skills in the area by doing this or that. And it's a great way to network too.
Yeah. And relative to the immigrant community and not so much, referencing the job work that the International Institute is doing, and is Manpower or are you guys collecting data on, sort of those jobs that immigrants are, in the landscaping industry, in the cooking industry, and in the restaurant industry? Is there a place for folks to go when they, aren't in the corporate setting and kind of at sea and floating about, as you said?
Yeah, I look at our Manpower report every quarter, and I am not aware of them reporting out around ethnic groups or groups with geographies. And so we definitely have information on all the different occupational jobs. And Manpower, of course, is temporary, permanent, and contract. And our 2 offices, downtown and on Olive, are very, very active in doing more of the professional work downtown, more of the temp work. So they've been busy. They do 2 things. They take people's applications, and then they actually go out and try to see if there are ways they can find them jobs, and then they have a job bank themselves in which they try to match.
Yeah. Can I ask you,
because I heard someone talking, and they said, how do you answer when they ask you, what do you expect to be doing in 5 years or something like that?
Yeah, that's a great question too, because the smart aleck answer was, I want your job.
Yeah, I heard
and that's not what you say. But whatever field you're in, whether it is office administration, whether it is a team leading teams or IT project management, the answer to that question is what you think the future of your industry is. And so it's things like, I'm very interested in what the future holds. As an office administrator, I'm sure I'll be doing more virtual work. I'm sure I'll be helping with virtual teams pulling together. So, it's up to you to be thinking about what is your industry, where is it going? So you're basically saying, I see myself in my industry gathering the new knowledge. You don't have to say, I see myself getting a raise or I see myself getting a promotion, because that company may not be interested in offering you a promotion 5 years from now. But the best answer is to say, I see myself increasing my skills in the area I love.
That's good. Thank you.
This is pretty fundamental, but you might want to, I think it's important to remind people that in your written communications, whether it's a resume or a cover letter, to check their spelling and to check their grammar. I get a lot of resumes from young lawyers, and sometimes I'm just shocked by the spelling mistakes, the grammatical mistakes that I see. And it's a real turnoff.
Yeah, that's a good point.
It's like reading papers. Text.
Yeah. I have a friend who's in that post-24-month unemployment area. And she says her dilemma lately is she keeps going in for when she gets a job interview and goes in, she's competing with people who are largely out of college with substantially less experience, but the company doesn't really want to pay what the experience, what the experience would in another environment actually cost. And so they're looking more at the inexperienced person. Are there messages or responses that she can give at that point that give more value? She even one day said, maybe I should lie about the amount of experience I have or something, because people don't even want to call me back because they say, oh, she's going to be too expensive. It's a real dilemma that people who are over 40 have right now in the job market.
Well, actually, your resume, nothing says that document is a total comprehensive review. It has to be accurate, but your resume can stop in the 90s. You can drop it off there, and you don't have to put the date you graduated. Nonetheless, people are going to be able to figure out if they do any checking about what kind of experience you have. When you talk about your experiences, this is where being accomplishment-based and being able to speak about how you add value and practicing how you answer that, you've got to stand up stronger against somebody who doesn't have those kinds of examples. And to be able to say that right now, with this economy, I'm very well aware that salary cannot be my major decision maker here. What is important to me is that I can get back into the workforce and begin adding the value that I have to build teams. I know how to work with different generations. You have to really practice to be able to, in a short amount of time, get the message across.
I have a question regarding ethnicity. Some years ago, there was a study, not a study, I think it was 60 Minutes or something like that, that if your name is Leticia, or if your name is Guillermo, other things being equal, at that time, they would not call you because you were either African American or Latino. Has that changed? What's happening in that area?
I would probably say it has not. Your name becomes part of your brand. We work with many people who are Asian and Indian, and they will intentionally put a nickname, an American nickname, on the top of their resume, just to make them more accessible. The biggest thing you want to do is to make sure that when you're interviewing, that your name can be pronounced, and so that it puts the person at ease. Nobody wants to feel uneasy about doing a mispronunciation of your name, so sometimes nicknames help in that regard because it makes it easier. And then you want to find some way to make it easy for you to tell your story, where you came from, permanent citizen here, and then go into it so that you've answered the questions. You've answered questions without people asking them. This is my story, I add value, I've lived in St. Louis this many years, move on then, so that then, okay, now I don't have to worry about these kinds of questions. You don't want distractions. You want to get down to how you add value. But I would say that our names are part of our brand, and I have a name that fits in everywhere, and maybe you don't, and that's going to be part of the message.
John Wayne had a Polish name, and then he changed his name.
It.
How many people would change their name?
Yeah, those were the days when people changed their names. They don't do that anymore.
Thank you.
Okay. How you help like a person that want to change careers, that want to start again, or diversify in this economy because maybe there is no job in what you used to do, but there is another job that they can use your skills.
Yeah, that, and we're seeing a whole lot of that. Networking is big. Getting an advocate for you inside of certain companies, interviewing or networking with people who are doing the job you would like to do, so you can get some feel for what that terminology is like. You will probably not get picked up by a recruiter or by a keyword search, an internal recruiter or a placement company, because your keywords are not going to match. There's not going to be that validity. So if you can volunteer at a place that will use some of your skills, that instantly puts those keywords into your LinkedIn profile, instantly puts those keywords into your resume. You can use a different format called a hybrid, which is not all chronological. It has some selected accomplishments that could be from your volunteer experience and networking.
Well, thank you very much, Sid and Gary and
Regina.
Regina slipped out.
Regina.
Okay. Thank you again for this great presentation. We have about 1 minute to go around, and you can identify yourself, and if you have an announcement for the benefit of the community, you can go ahead and say it. Let's start with Luis Martinez.
Luis Martinez, I'm a board of director member and a treasurer for the organization. And as a member of the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, I'd like to invite you to the Business After Hours that is about to take place the third Thursday of every month. So you're always welcome to attend there. Great way to practice your networking abilities, your elevator speech, and hopefully practice all the great techniques that you taught us today. So thank you.
I'm Idalia McNulty from Molina Healthcare and also secretary of the Hispanic Leaders Group. And we are always, helping people to get insurance when they have low income. So if you want us to go to your school or do presentations, ask me. Thank you.
I'm Lenny Frankel. I represent the Jewish Community Relations Council here tonight. But I wanted to announce that on Sunday, September the 11th, from 5:30 to 6:30 p.m. at the Sheldon Concert Hall, the Interfaith Partnership of St. Louis, on which I serve on the executive committee, together with the Archdiocese of St. Louis and the Jewish Community Relations Council and a number of other organizations, is sponsoring a free concert for September the 11th for 1 hour, 5:30 to 6:30, and it's members from the St. Louis Symphony are participating together.
Christina Brewer is going to sing.
Christina Brewer, soprano, is going to be singing. A string quartet from the symphony and some other musical groups are going to be participating. So if you can make it, please come.
Thank you.
Lenny, do you have a flyer or something that you can email me and I'll email it out?
Yes, I'll send it to you.
Lenny, what time did you say?
5:30 to 6:30.
Thank you.
And I'm Anna Crossan from the International Institute, and since Luis mentioned the HCC after hours on the 18th, I believe, of August, I feel compelled to announce the World Trade Center reception on the 18th at the same time, at which San Luis
Potosí is going to be featured there.
And therefore we have a conflict.
No, you go to both.
Go to both? Yeah, right, Clayton to South St. Louis. But anyway, so the two events are occurring at the same time this month, regrettably. And for those, if there's anybody in the room that doesn't know, the 27th and 28th of August is Festival of Nations in Tower Grove Park. Be there.
Right. We'll be there. Felix.
My name is Feliz Tovar. I am a Lutheran pastor, and I am going to be installed at Our Redeemer Lutheran Church on August 21st, 3 o'clock, if you guys want to come. at Our Redeemer Lutheran Church in Oakland. So also should be beginning a mentor program in the Rittner School District. We started in the spring, and we're going to be starting again in the fall, working with the school district to get volunteers in the school system during the afternoon and after school. So if anybody wants to volunteer, that would be really cool.
Good.
Hi, I'm Melinda Francis. I'm an AmeriCorps Vista at the International Institute, and I help with recruiting volunteers for the Festival of Nations. My name is Dawn Burke-Bigler, and I also work with the International Institute. And I'm splitting my time between community outreach, working with anti-discrimination in the workplace with immigrants and refugees, and also working with language services, recruiting new customers to assist with website translation, interpretations, employee handbooks, and so forth.
Hi, I'm Lorenzo Gonzalez. I have been very involved with the community in interpretation and translation. And after 3 years, I became one of the unplugged individuals that Sid was talking about. I was working with a company as international marketing director, and all of a sudden, they decided to change the whole program. And that happened a week ago, and I'm kind of still figuring out that, what do you call it?
Floating, transitions.
No. We have a name. Wait a minute.
The positive.
Branding. I am trying to figure out my branding and get off away from the branding of the company. I will appreciate if I can talk to you a moment after the meeting.
Dinora.
My name is Dinora Palmeiro, and I'm the correspondence secretary for the Hispanic Leaders Group. And if anybody has the application, fill the membership application, you can give it to Luis. Okay.
Thank you.
I am Elena Garcia Kenyon. I worked for Limberry School District for several years. I am recently retired, and I enjoy my summer.
So she has time now.
I have time. I want to invite everybody here to come to our Latino festival at Our Lady of Guadalupe in Ferguson. This festival will be this coming Sunday. 12 o'clock will be the Mass in Spanish, and from 1 to 8 we'll have diverse Latin food and a lot of entertainment. Many artists and singers from St. Louis donate their time. All is in benefit of Our Lady of Guadalupe in Ferguson, and I invite everybody to go. We will be there, and we will have a good time.
Okay.
Free commercial. Any advertisement you want to provide that are community events. I have a radio program every Saturday from noon to 1:30. My email is sonmelao, SONMELAO @Yahoo, and I'll do provide that service every Saturday. All of these events that you have, as long as they're not profit making, not for profit are good, but if you're commercial, we do provide that service. So send it to me, and I will gladly do it through WEW 770 AM. or wewradio.com, through the internet.
Thank you for your offer.
So sonmelao@yahoo.com. I want to advertise because I just got this. There is free English classes at St. Charles Community College. They have a program here. I send this out to all of those that I have. It's a schedule. It's in St. Charles. There's 4 sites that they provide free English classes for anyone that wants to improve their English or do not know any English. So this, I did send it out, but I can resend it if you give me your card in case you're interested in knowing people that wants to improve their English.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Cynthia Jordan. I'm with Regions Bank. I'm the Vice President and Community Affairs Manager for Missouri and Illinois, and very happy to be back in this capacity. The last time I was here, I was with Southwest Bank, M&I, and certainly agree with everything Sid said. I've been through some transitions, but love St. Louis and equally would like to make sure that the Hispanic community is very much involved with the evolution in the banking industry. Certainly want you all to be involved with the things that we're doing. We are trying to change St. Louis and make it more bankable. We're trying to build those relationships. And then secondly, I would like to put a plug in for the Metropolitan Equal Housing Opportunity Council. I am a board member and the treasurer. If you know any housing discrimination issues, please, please, please make sure that you call our office. Will Jordan is our executive director. And certainly I can talk to you about that as well, but I just want to make sure that you all know that I'm here, that I'm a friend of the Hispanic community, and I'm here to serve.
Thank you very much, Cynthia. I'm going to excuse myself, but I'm going to have the vice president continue with the meeting. I want to get my car out of the parking.
Anybody else will have to go out of the parking. You got 10 minutes.
Mr. Vice President, I just want to make sure.
If the door on this side of 10th Street is locked, you just go around the edge and there's a big opening there.
Okay. Am I the only one in the parking?
No, there are other people in the parking, I think.
Go ahead, Omar.
I would like to let you know about an event that's happening on August 24th. It's going to be, it's an event that's bringing together a couple different organizations that are spearheaded by Bellas Artes, and the Assistant U.S. Attorney General will be coming in.
Tom Pettis.
Yes, Tom Pettis will be coming in for some Q&A time. We've asked some of the organizations to send in some questions that he'll be able to answer. The discussion will be over issues that impact the Hispanic Latino community locally, with education, with legislation, healthcare, things of that nature. So it'll be a great opportunity to absolutely network with people here that in the St. Louis area that want to get things done, and also with people in the U.S. government. Also, October 8th, right? Over at the History Museum is going to be the Latino Legacy program, which will be a program that is going to be based around the economy and how the Hispanic Latino community has positively impacted the economy. And that will be about a 3-hour program from around 1 to 4 over at the History Museum. There will be a panel discussion there. There will be music and dancing there, and an opportunity for you to hear some speakers from large organizations talking specifically how and why they have vested in the Hispanic community locally and abroad. So, thank you.
Maria Teresa Maldonado with the Hispanic Leaders Group, and also with Vice Chair for Casa de Salud. We're going to have our first gala, annual gala for the health center, and we're very, very excited. Some of you have been just great helpers of Casa de Salud. It's our first fundraising event, and we hope that we raise tons of funds to continue basically our mission, which is to help individuals that are underinsured or lack insurance, especially the immigrant community, but everyone is welcome and served by Casa de Salud.
When is that event?
To do that.
The date?
That will be on Veterans Day, November the 11th. So we will be sending information. We have saved the date that we have already sent. So we hope you can participate. We hope that you can support our Casa de Salud, who is doing a terrific work of helping our community stay healthy. Okay? So that is the main thing for us. Thank you.
I'm Janine Hilbert. I am with the Hispanic Festival Incorporated, and I just want to invite everybody. Our upcoming festival is coming in September 16, 17, and 18. Most of the Hispanic leaders have received an invitation letter for the welcoming ceremony, and then also we're inviting your organizations to be part of this. We invited quite a few dignitaries. We've been getting yes for many of them. We want to show that our community is together. We want to show that we are here and always getting along. Okay? And also, I want to remind you that August 28th, there is going to be at the Foundry Arts Center a Hispanic exhibit, and there's going to be a lot of entertainment, there's going to be food, a lot of family events for children, so everybody's invited. It's a free event. It's sponsored by the PNC Bank. Okay, and this is the very first one we're having something like this. So I think please keep in mind and try to support it, because they are planning on having 3 more events if everything goes fine. Okay, so we want to say, yeah.
And where's that again?
That is in St. Charles and Old Main Street.
My name is Karen Aresti. I'm the Regional Director of the Anti-Defamation League and a member of the Board of Directors of this benefit.
I'm Joanne Gladney. I'm with the County Executive's Office. I just wanted to say that to the guys at Casa de Salud today and very much enjoyed the visit. I'm here to listen and learn always to see if we can do better.
I'm Lisa Levine, Placement Coordinator at St. Louis College of Health Careers, and I help our graduates find employment.
I'm Judy Drive, St. Louis College of Health Careers, and actually we're here on behalf of Dr. Rush Robinson, who is a member of this group. And we actually have our first student volunteer that we are paying to start working at Casa de Salud.
So, in conclusion, thank you so very much for coming tonight. We look forward to seeing each and every one of you at future meetings, and we'll cut it short. Thanks again. Meeting adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you, Gary.
Thank you. Oh,
Thank you so much for hosting this.
Oh, glad to have you
That was
here.
wonderful.